Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. A lovely, lovely Wednesday across the southwestern Wales. Fantastic sunshine. Hope you're all getting out and enjoying that. This morning's session, as you can well imagine, was planned previous to last Thursday's. Interesting, probably word I would use to describe the government announcement regarding Portugal. I think it's fair to say it shocked the travel industry, to say the least, because seemingly the data didn't appear to back up the government's decision making. And to give you some sort of flavour of that, the tourism minister for Portugal was on the telly this week saying that of the Brits that had gone across to Portugal for the holidays since it turned green, 100,000 people were tested 2 days before they flew back. And of those people, 6 tested positive for COVID and obviously had to isolate in Portugal. But that is 6 out of 100,000 people. So you can imagine with that data how surprised everybody was with the decision that was made. And so the reason we carried on with this event today is quite simply, we fully expect Portugal to come back on the green list again pretty soon. So because of that, we thought, let's crack on with the event, because you might be somebody that's a fan of the destination, you might not know the destination. I am in the fan category, without a shadow of a doubt. We'll probably talk about that maybe at the end. And so we're joined this morning by Gemma from Classic Collection. Classic offer a fantastic range of holidays across the whole of the Algarve. So great to have Gemma with us this morning. And we're also, for a bit of extra insight, joined by Alice from Visit Portugal, who will give extra insight. So we have 2 proper experts on this morning to talk about this wonderful destination. So I will, without further ado, pass you across to Gemma, who will hopefully wow you with the delights of Portugal. So Gemma, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for all joining us this morning. As we say, it wasn't quite what we had hoped with Newswise for Portugal, but we're keen to have it back very soon. So the first thing I just wanted to share with you was just a little video from Classic Collection, just to show how keen we are to get everyone back. So let me just share this one full screen. And this is one that's been recorded by some of our staff, some of our hoteliers out in our different resorts.
Una, dos, tres.
Bienvenido.
Bienvenidos.
On a hâte de vous revoir en France. À bientôt.
Bienvenue à CSL, mon cœur porte-à-faux laboratoire. À bientôt.
Welcome back. Bienvenidos.
Carlos está de regreso.
Bentornati. Bienvenidos de vuelta.
Bem-vindo de volta.
Bienvenidos de nuevo.
Merhaba, tekrar hoş geldiniz.
أهلا بكم في مصر بلد التاريخ وبلد الحضارة.
Welcome back.
مرحبا.
We can't wait to welcome you back here to the Palma Public and take your beautiful safaris.
Welcome back to St. Lucia. We look forward to having you with us again.
There we go. So as you can see, there's lots of people very excited to be able to welcome us back to their destinations very soon. But today, everything is about Portugal. So let me just get the presentation for this one, and then we can share with you. What I've tried to do is just cover some areas of Portugal that perhaps might not be quite so familiar with, and just some of the different areas that we can feature as Classic Collection Holidays too. So just to tell you a little bit about Classic Collection Holidays, you know, why you should travel with us. So we have incredible product differentiation. We can put absolutely anything together for you for your holidays, and completely personalized service. So anything that you want us to put together, we can pop together for you. It doesn't, you're not tied to, you know, how many nights you go. You can do different twin centres, you can do multi-centres, and we can do all your kind of special requests as well. So if you needed interconnecting rooms, if you wanted south-facing balconies, all those sorts of things, we can go to the hotels and get all of those arranged for you with Miles Morgan Travel. We've got the classic commitment for complete peace of mind, which I will just show you in a moment. We use all the major airlines from 30 UK airports, obviously including Bristol, most important one, and great hotel rates from our hoteliers so that you're always getting a good price for your holiday. All of our holidays are ATOL and APTA protected as well, so your money's completely safe, and we have our knowledgeable reps in resort to look after you while you're on your travels as well. Okay, the classic commitment. This is something we put in place with COVID in mind to make sure that you've got the peace of mind when you're booking your holiday. So, you know, everything keeps changing at the moment, but at the moment we're on this traffic light system. So currently, as things stand, if your destination is green, obviously you're fine, you can go. But if your destination is in red or amber within 2 weeks of when you travel, then Classic Collection would offer you a full refund on your holiday via Miles Morgan Travel within 14 days. We issue you the refund within 14 days. Alternatively, we'd love you still to travel, and we can offer free amendments as well to change your departure to another time later in the year, when hopefully everything will be nice and easy for you to travel again. But it just gives you the peace of mind that whenever you're booking something, you know that if you can't go, you will have the opportunity, if it's against the Foreign Office advice, to get your money back on your holiday, or we can amend it to another destination. Some Portugal facts. Probably these, you may know some already. Currency, obviously the euro. Time difference, 0. So we don't have to worry about any jet lag traveling over to Portugal. Portuguese is the official language of 9 countries. 85% of the buildings in Lisbon were destroyed by an earthquake and then a tsunami, double bad luck, in 1755. The oldest bookstore in the world is found in Lisbon. And over half of the world's cork comes from Portugal as well. So we'll definitely thank Portugal for that, for our wine. Okay, Portugal, I mentioned this briefly earlier about some of the multi-centres that we can put together. So we've got Lisbon and the Estoril coast, Porto and the Douro Valley, Lisbon and the Algarve, and Porto and Madeira as well. So, you know, if you're looking to not just visit one area, we can put it all together for you, depending on which sort of multi-centre you choose. We can do sort of cars in between, sometimes it's rail in between, and obviously if you're looking at Porto Madeira, it would be internal flights as well, but you've got lots of different options that we can combine there for you. And I'm joined by Alice today from Visit Portugal. So what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about each place, and then she's going to give you some insights into each destination as well. So we'll start with the obvious one. We'll start with Lisbon. And it had, you know, fabulous city. I did it a few years ago. I was very fortunate to go out to Lisbon, and I think it was October, had beautiful sunshine, and it's a great city to visit if you want a bit of city life, but also, you know, brilliant sunshine and, you know, a bit of warmth as well. So you've got some UNESCO World Heritage sites there. You've got medieval quarter. It's lots of narrow cobbled streets. It is very hilly in Lisbon, so great to have the trams there to make that a little bit easier. If you're adventurous like I was when I went on my trip, we actually did a Segway tour, which was great because you saw these people huffing and puffing, climbing up these really steep streets, and we were zipping around everywhere on our Segways instead, which was great. And there was lots of people selling different kind of things from their houses as well, coming out with different liqueurs and cakes that you could buy as you went around. So it was a fantastic experience to do it that way. You've also got the Geronimo's Monastery, replica of the Rio Christ the Redeemer statue. And we've already mentioned the vintage trams as well. Just a few pictures of some of the sites, and of course the all-important cakes that you will find in Portugal as well, particularly in Lisbon, very famous. I think we recreated them on Bake Off a couple of years ago over here as well, and they seem to have really taken off in the UK, but definitely best to go and try the real thing. You can see the Christ the Redeemer statue here in Lisbon as well. And then what I wanted to do is just to recommend somewhere to stay. Now, I always think when you're looking at the city break properties, it's always good. Everything is about location, because you want to be right in the center of everything. So we actually have a boutique hotel, the Lisboa Plaza, which is a member of the Heritage Lisbon Hotels. So it's a small property, really in the historic centre, really easy to get out and about from there as well. But over to Alice, what else do we need to include when we're in Lisbon?
So, like you were saying, Lisbon is a good place to do also multi-center holiday, where you can do Lisbon and Cascais or Estoril or even Sintra, which is, even if you stay in Lisbon, you can go to Cascais, to Estoril, to Sintra on a day trip, for example. There's also, if you cross the river to the other side, Setúbal, Sesimbra, which are lovely coastal towns. Sesimbra has amazing fish, so it's a small fishing town. You can go by car; it's less than an hour from Lisbon, and is in the middle of the Arrábida Natural Park. So you'll find a beautiful little town with wonderful seafood, fish. You can also, what you can do if people are something that you can't forget when you're in Lisbon is a Fado house, for example. There's also the Amat and Gulbenkian museums, which are very famous for their art, and Gulbenkian has wonderful exhibitions and music as well. Something that most people are not aware is you can visit the Rua Augusta Arco, which was the picture that you showed earlier. It was there. You can go up to the top and see Lisbon. Yeah, that picture there. You can go up there, so it's like €4 or something, and you have an amazing view of all the city. And of course, we have the modern side of the city, which is Parque das Nações. So that was built for the '98 Expo, and now is very modern part of the city. There's the Oceanarium as well, which is great for families. Children usually love going to the Oceanarium. So yeah, something else that you can do while in Lisbon is, for example, there's river cruises. So in the Tejo, there's helicopter rides. There's classic car tours. For example, you can either rent a car or have someone driving it for you. So do a tour, and there's also the tours on tuk-tuk. Although now most of the tuk-tuks are becoming electric, so it's at the beginning it was a bit overwhelming because of all the noises, but most now they are becoming electric, so it's a much sustainable way of doing the tours around Lisbon as well.
Fantastic. And you also, there's lots of monuments, etc., to the explorers, because obviously Portuguese are a nation of explorers.
Exactly, around the Belém area, which is where the president lives. So there's the Jerónimos Monastery, there's Torre de Belém, there's the Descobrimentos, so the explorers statues, which all of those can be visited as well. And there's even the Maritime Museum. So you'll see the big boats, for example. Something that you can do is that bridge, the 25th April bridge. People can go as well on Pillar 7. People can go there and visit, and they also have a wonderful view. So it's a really nice experience if people are into that as well.
Yeah, we climbed up there, or got the lift up to that when we were there.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so moving on, we kind of mentioned this a little bit with Lisbon, because the ideal kind of twin centre, if you're staying in the Lisbon area or if you wanted the beach area, is to visit Estoril and the Cascais coast. So you would fly into Lisbon for anywhere in this area, but you've got Estoril, which is very much the glamorous beach resort. It's very renowned for its famous casino, largest of its kind in Europe, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. You've also got the golf courses there and great nightlife too. And you've got Cascais, so fashionable beach resort. It's where, you know, good enough for the kings, good enough for us. You've got a lot of king's palaces and villas, and some of our hotels are actually converted villas there. And the fantastic beaches that you can see on our pictures too. So here you go again, just a few of the nice images there of the area you can visit. We mentioned Sintra before. You've got the beach areas as well, but also this famous casino. So one of the things that the area is well known for is it's where Ian Fleming wrote Casino Royale, based around the casino. So it's got a lot of James Bond influence there. And one of the hotels that I'm going to pick out in a moment just shows you, and it was actually where part of the book was written, which is fabulous. So there's lots of James Bond-esque moments, but it's a lovely area. It's somewhere that's probably not as well known by the British. Everyone thinks of the Algarve for the beach resorts, but it's a lovely area to discover. I would say similar kind of coastline to what you would find in the UK in Cornwall. Lots of pretty coves, beautiful beaches, stunning scenery, lovely places to walk around. You've got these sort of promenades around as well, so it's really easy to get out and about when you're there as well.
This area is known for the Portuguese Riviera, so it's a lot of royalty used to spend their holidays in Cascais industrial area.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we always think is the Brits, I think, as Algarve as being the beach resorts, but this is where the Portuguese go. So first hotel to recommend is the Estoril Palacio Hotel, which is the one at the top here. It's very grand, dates back, I can't remember the date on it, 18 something, but historic hotel. And you've got the fabulous, we met the doorman who works at the hotel when we were there. I think he's in his 80s now, but he still comes and works at the hotel. He's met all the famous people over the years and had some great stories to tell us of the James Bonds that he's met when they're in the property. If you sit in the bar there, they've got a bit of commemoration to the fact that Ian Fleming wrote the book there, that Casino Royale was filmed. And also I have to put this in because if you spotted my surname being a Lazenby, it is actually where they filmed On Her Majesty's Secret Service as well, with the worst James Bond, George Lazenby. So he was there. They were very impressed when I was there and asked me if I was related to him, but sadly not. I couldn't even pretend that I'm a relation to James Bond himself. And then carrying on to Cascais, we mentioned earlier about, the King's villas, etc. on the coast here. And you've got this beautiful Grand Villa Italia. If you imagine, you can probably see my cursor, just the other side of here is the beach. So it's really close to the beach front there, but formerly the residence of a king of Italy. So this is the original kind of building, the original villa. You can see they've built the hotel all around it, but absolutely beautiful property and one of the leading hotels of the world as well. Is there anything else we need to cover on this area, Alice?
Well, there's lovely promenades. You can walk all the way next to the coasts, next to the beach. From Estoril to Cascais, there's, if you like, a bit further down. So if you move a bit further up in Cascais, there's a Guincho beach as well. And between that area, there's many amazing restaurants overlooking the sea with amazing food as well. For those who like seafood, fish, there's a lot of amazing restaurants there. Something that you can do. So there's at the Estoril the Palacio. There's they can serve. They do that James Bond theme food, drinks like the martini as well. So the helicopter rides around Lisbon, from Lisbon to Cascais is also an amazing site. So I highly recommend it as well.
Yeah, and it's easy to get the train. You can get the train from Lisbon to Estoril.
Exactly. It's nice, just 35 minutes from Lisbon to Cascais. So you don't need to change. It's up to the last stop in the train line is Cascais. So it's 35 minutes from Cais de Sodré.
So whichever you're staying in, it's easy to do it as a day trip to the other as well.
Yeah.
Okay, moving slightly further north into Porto and the Douro Valley. You can see the one that's high on my list because we've got the pictures of the grapes and the wine at the top. But we'll start with Porto. So Porto was the European City of Culture in 2001. Again, great for a city break, sunny city break, cobbled streets, art galleries. You've got the ancient churches there. Got a palace where you can go and see the ballroom, where the walls are gilded with 18-karat gold, and beautiful parks and gardens too. Now, I mentioned earlier on about the fact that Lisbon has the world's oldest bookshop. I'll let Alice tell the story of the bookshop in Porto and why it's famous.
So that's the Lelo bookstore. It is linked to Harry Potter. So it has the staircase, the beautiful red staircase that you can see in the movies. Actually, the writer, so J.K. Rowling, she lived in Porto when she was younger, so in her 20s. And she inspired herself a lot in Portugal and Porto to write Harry Potter. So there you go.
We've got, a few film connections in Portugal for you today.
So, for example, even the capes that Harry Potter uses, so the students use at the school, it's also based in traditional gowns or traditional uniforms, let's say, that university students uses. So we have Portugal is a little bit different from the UK in terms of academic experience, let's say. So we have, for special dates, special events, we wear we call it a traje. So it's sort of a uniform, and it has a long cape as well. So all black with white shirts. So she based herself as well in the clothing on that as well, on the Portuguese university students.
Fabulous. And then onto the Douro Valley. I mean, you've got, looking for a relaxing stay, a fabulous place to visit. You've got, you can do the trips on the boats along the Douro Valley. You've got a historic rail journey as well. And most importantly, of course, you've got the wine tours. So there's a lot to do in this area. If you're looking to get out and about, there's a lot of river cruises, obviously along the Douro Valley. But if you didn't want to do the river cruise experience, and be on the cruise ship the whole time, we've got some fabulous hotels, and you can still be along the river and visit the different sites as well. So hotel-wise, a couple of places I've just picked out here. So in Porto, again, being a city, I've tried to go for somewhere that is an ideal kind of central destination as well there. So we've gone for the Pestana Porto Vintage Hotel, which is the one just at the top of the picture here. It's a waterfront hotel, fabulous river views. It's in a 16th century historic building too, and most importantly for a city, fantastic location. And then moving on to the Douro Valley, you've got the Vintage House, which is here at the bottom. As you can see, prime waterfront location in the wine region, and was actually an 18th century wine estate as well. And I'm sure that Alice can tell us a little bit more about the Douro Valley area, because we've kind of skipped over that one a little bit.
So the Douro Valley is World Heritage site as well. So it's protected landscape. It has a lot of amazing vineyards and wine estates alongside the river, and you'll find many where you can have a lot of amazing experience, from infinity pools to spas, health, wellness, picnics in the vineyards, walks, cycling, that kind of things. You can, of course, do the cruise or just do a yacht tour, for example. There's also something called the presidential train, which goes, it's mostly during the summer only, so up to September, beginning of October, on weekends mostly. And it is an old train that was renovated. It is a beautiful train. You can have your meal on board while going through from Porto to Régua. So it's something different as well. You can do that. You can mix, for example, going on a one-day tour to the Douro and return on the presidential train, or vice versa, for example. So that's something you can do. Something that people don't know, for example, is Portugal has a lot of Jewish heritage as well. So you'll find in Porto a lot of Jewish heritage. We have the recently opened Holocaust Museum. Something also related with wine is the World of Wine museums, which actually are 6 museums in Gaia. Next to the Yetman is part of the Yetman, so it's the owner is the same. Yeah, and something that if people can travel a little bit further, there's now recently an hour by car from Porto. There you need a car. So if you have a car, people who rent a car can go. There's in Aroca. So the longest bridge that crosses the river, so is a walking bridge. It has 516 meters, so it's called the Aroca 516. It recently opened last month. It was supposed to be open last year, but because of the pandemic, that was delayed, and they opened this year. So it's something that people if they want to do something different, there you go.
We're always looking for something different. Okay, so we're moving on. We're catching a flight over to Madeira, which is in the Atlantic, off the coast of Africa, if anyone's not familiar with the location of it. But it is one of the Portuguese islands, and one of my favourite places to talk about. I've been very fortunate. I've been to Madeira many, many times. Classic Collection actually started as a Madeira travel specialist. So many years ago when we first started, it was the only destination that we featured. So we've got a long history, back to 1988 in Madeira for Classic Collection. But you've got stunning scenery, you've got fabulous botanical gardens, local markets to visit in the town of Funchal. You've got the Levada walking, which I will show you some of the Levada photos in a moment. You've got Madeira wine tours, the cable car and the toboggan, and travelling across to Porto Santo as well. So there's always a lot to do. What you'll find in Madeira is you've got a mixture of sort of the older hotels, some modern hotels, but also the quintas. And these are the manor houses, often from the kind of when the wine industry was huge in Madeira. A lot of people built themselves these amazing manor houses. And they hadn't kept them up, so they've been converted into these stunning quinta hotels, and they've got their own botanical gardens. They're in some fabulous positions, and if you've got any kind of walking difficulties, because what you will find, Madeira is sort of a cone-shaped city, so it is quite hilly, but there are some properties which are down at the bottom here, which are the quintas, because they were original buildings. They were built first. They've got the prime positions where you can just look out of your room onto the cruise ships. You can just see at the bottom here one of the cruise ships. When you're in Funchal, you often see these coming in and out. But yeah, it's then flat into the town as well. If you did want a hotel that was a little bit different and a great location as well. You've got the fish markets. You've got beautiful flower markets as well in the town of Funchal. With the flowers, you can even get them boxed up for you to bring back to the UK as well. They'll do that so that you can bring them onto the flights as your hand luggage, which is lovely, just to bring a little bit of Madeira back with you. You've got the wine tours. The one that's very well known for Classic is the Blandy wine tour. You can go to the Blandy wine museum. You can go and try all the different wines, do some wine tasting. Definitely an afternoon activity, I would say. But definitely a good one to try out whilst you're in Madeira. And then you've got the cable car. You can just see the cables for the cable car here, but it starts right down at the bottom of the town, goes up into the mountains into Mond, which is one of our quinta hotels that does have its own botanical gardens. And then once you're at the top of the cable car, you could do some sightseeing and just come back in the cable car, or you can come back down in a toboggan. Now, I think if you've made it all the way to Madeira, you need to go in that toboggan. And I have to be honest, when I heard toboggan, and I knew I was going in this the first time, I was thinking Cool Runnings. I was going down a track in a toboggan. It's nothing like that, and I will show you a photo in just a moment. It's much more of a wicker basket with wood strapped to the bottom of it and two men sitting on the back directing you down cobbled streets. So it was fantastic, really, really exciting one to do, something completely different that I've certainly never seen it anywhere else in the world. So I think it's a unique one for Madeira. But what you find, Madeira has a fantastic climate. So you can travel year round. They have fireworks displays over Christmas and New Year. So what you'll find is a lot of the cruise ships come in for New Year. And all of the hotels have viewing stations within the hotel so that you can see these amazing fireworks as well. So it is one of the top places to go for the new year. There aren't big beaches on Madeira. There's a couple of very tiny beaches, but if you're looking for beautiful sandy beaches, you can go onto its neighbouring island of Porto Santo. You can go by ferry or helicopter to have a bit of a twin centre there as well. Now, let me just show you some, here we go. So I couldn't miss out sharing a photo. I couldn't find any good ones in good form, unfortunately, so it's a bit blurry, but you can see that it is basically a wicker basket that you sit on with, as I say, two men in hats on the back guiding you down streets. So it's definitely an experience. And then you've got the levadas. So the levadas are the irrigation canals within Madeira. And you've got 5 levels of walks that you can do. So you can either go on a guided walk or you can just buy a guidebook and go off and do them yourself. They're all, say, given levels between 1 and 5 so that you know whether you're walking on completely flat ground or whether you are literally hiking up the side of a mountain. So that you can prepare yourself for whichever way you want to visit and spend your day as well. Now, I've just picked out a couple of our properties in Madeira, but we've got some, say, absolutely amazing places to stay. Now, the original hotel, the most famous one in Madeira, is the Reed's Palace, which I've shown you here. You can actually see just down at the bottom here, originally, way before they had an airport in Madeira, you used to arrive by boat and they would carry you up to the hotel on what looks like a bit like the toboggans, really. They had those for, couldn't possibly be expected to walk up the hill yourself. You would be carried, and they've got a little museum in the hotel where you can see the history there as well. Fortunately, these days, it's just a 10-minute ride from the airport, but a very traditional hotel. And even if you aren't staying here, I would definitely recommend visiting the Reed's Palace for the afternoon tea, which they feature there, which is incredibly famous. And secondly, if you're not looking for a big hotel, the Jardim do Lago is probably my favourite of the quintas. So it's a beautiful 5-star quinta. All of the rooms are suites, and it has its own botanical gardens attached to it. One thing, if you're a favourite like me with the food, the most amazing food I've had in Portugal, I think, is in the Jardim do Lago. They just do the most incredible meals there in their restaurant. And they have their own little resident, well, not little, their own resident giant tortoise called Colombo, who walks around the grounds, and you can feed him. So he's a bit of an added attraction as well. Is there anything I've missed for Madeira, Alice? I've talked a lot about Madeira, sorry.
No, well, Madeira is becoming, I don't know if you knew that, but Madeira is becoming a foodie place, very well known for its food. There's the typical drink called poncha, which is basically rum with sugar, and you can put some passion fruit, for example. So its poncha is very popular. There's there's fish, there's meat. So the Madeira, they have a special way of preparing their food. So it's different from the food that there is in the mainland. So definitely go and if people decide to go to the historical area of Funchal, there's a lot of bars and restaurants there. They're serving amazing food. Another thing that Madeira likes to do is party. So they have amazing festivals from the Christmas and New Year's, the fireworks display. Again, in June, they have a firework display where they choose which company will do the fireworks during the New Year's Eve. They have the flower festival as well. Unfortunately, at the moment, because of the pandemic, everything is not happening. But hopefully, for 2022, things will be back again. But yeah, Madeira is very well known. They like to party. They are very lively people as well. And another curiosity is 2/3 of Madeira is actually forests in protected landscape. So anywhere that you are in Madeira, you'll see the sea. You can do amazing boat trips, for example, to watch dolphins. There's something that people are not aware that there's dolphins and whales that you can do tours to see whales and dolphins in Madeira. And amazing, there's jeep tours as well. They take you up to the Pico do Arieiro mountain, which is quite high, and you'll have an amazing view over Madeira as well. Yeah, so there's a few. Another thing that if you can, you should do is the lava pools in so on the north side of the island. So it's because Madeira is a volcanic island, and the ocean, the water created those lava pools. So it's something that people could do as well while in Madeira if they want to do some relaxing at the pool.
Fabulous. And Madeira is a great alternative if you've done the Canary Islands before. You're looking for winter sunshine. Hopefully we'll be back being able to travel in the winter. I always think it's just got a lot more going on than some of the Canary Islands. It's much greener and just a good alternative if you're looking for something a little bit different. As Alice said, they're very hospitable. The food is fabulous. And I would definitely say if you're traveling to Madeira to do bed and breakfast, because there are so many places to eat out and to enjoy and explore. It would be a shame to be eating every day in your hotel while you're there.
And more families are going to Madeira. So there's also that perception that Madeira is only for, older couples or people. But actually, a lot of more and more families are, spending time in Madeira because there's a lot of things to do for children as well.
Yeah, a lot of the hotels have got fantastic kids clubs. Even the Reed's Palace, in fact, has an amazing kids club, a thatched roof with its own little swimming pool and lots of kids' activities in the school holidays as well. So, yeah, I think we do definitely have this vision of it's all for older people in Madeira, and that is definitely changing. There's also a lot of sort of extreme sport type things you can do as well out in Madeira. So if you've got looking to do something a little bit different, a little bit more adventurous, you've got those options in Madeira as well. Okay, moving on to the one we always think of when we think of Portugal is discovering the Algarve. Now, obviously, the Algarve, you can see the picture at the bottom there. You've got these incredible sandy beaches, and that's probably what the Algarve is best known for, is the wonderful beaches, the fabulous blue sea, these amazing coves and caves that you can explore. And you've got lots of different resorts along the Algarve that some are, very well known with the British market, and others probably less well known. But Vila Moura, it's elegant yachts, bars, high-end restaurants. Again, another place that you probably wouldn't want to be in an all-inclusive, because it's somewhere, or even half board, somewhere you want to get out and about and explore and try all these different restaurants and bars in those areas. Albufeira as well. You've got the Old Square. You've got beautiful and spoilt beaches. You've got areas known for their pottery, fine wine, seafood. Covero, if you're looking for sort of a more fishing village with the whitewashed houses and the sandstone cliffs that the Algarve is just incredibly well known for. Tavera, if you've got the historic city there with the riverfront gardens, stately mansions and 7-arched Roman bridge. And Quinta do Lago, of course, very well known for all its golfers, and particularly over the winter months, you tend to find a lot of golfers heading out to the Algarve as well. Now, if I just sneak onto the next page here. Again, things to do in the Algarve. Beaches is the main draw, of course. So the Cavern caverns and caves. You can do so many boat trips, canoeing trips, paddle boarding trips to actually go out into the caves as well, which is, you know, some fabulous experiences there. You can take in a round of golf in pretty much any area along the Algarve. There are a lot of golf courses to choose from. And I also found that you can do some ghost spotting tours as well. So I thought if anyone's into their ghost hunting, it's something a little bit different as well. Now, we've got lots and lots of places to stay in the Algarve Classic Collection. So I've picked out four kind of really different type properties as well. So starting off with, oh, hang on, I've skipped, put my hands down and hit the button. Right, okay, so starting with the Anantara Villa Mora, which is the hotel at the top here. As you can see, on a fabulous golf course, the Anantara chain has a fabulous reputation for, you know, complete luxury properties. As a lot of the golf courses do have, fabulous spa as well, and great facilities for kids and teens too. The only downside is it isn't actually beachfront, but it does have its own beach club there where you've got a free shuttle to head across as well. So it's very much a golfers or activity kind of hotel in kind of pure luxury there. Moving on to the Bella Vista Hotel, I've tried to go for some complete opposites here, which is a 5-star boutique hotel. You can actually see at the bottom, you've got the 19th century property there. That's obviously been expanded out into one of the boutique hotels. And the picture above it is just for on their balcony bar, where you can see fabulous sea views right across the beach as well. And it actually has private access to the beach. And one of the first hotels in the Algarve. Heading on to another golf resort, the Cascade Wellness there. So we have overlooking the beach again. So this is a golf hotel, but actually a beachfront property. But the real focus here is on loads and loads of different sports. So you've got a tennis academy, you've got football academy, and you've got a golf academy. I can't remember which of the football teams it is, but it's one of the big ones, Arsenal or Chelsea, or one of them has their football academy at the hotel. You can tell I'm not a football fan. My kids would kill me. Because they would be able to tell you which team it is, but they have, you know, all these different academies that you can go and sign up for, and particularly in the school holidays, it's great for kids as well. Huge spa and wellness centre, and a really great property for the families at any time of year. And then finally, the Grand Hotel Santa Eulalia, which is more of the kind of traditional beach property. So it's a fabulous, fabulous hotel, 5-star, right on the beach there, as you can see. And a really popular choice with the Classic Collection staff, I have to say. I did a trip out here a few years ago with some travel agents, and 3 of them ended up going back for their own holiday because they loved it so much whilst we were there. You've got a good choice of restaurants, good kids facilities, lots of spa options, but much more the kind of beach relaxing type vibe there on, as you say, on that fabulous beach as well. But I will hand over to Alice for just some updates on other things that you can do while you're in the Algarve.
So the Algarve, of course, is most well known for its sea coasts. So what you can do there is, for example, paddle surfing, or visit the Formosa Nature Park. Apart from the boat tours that you already said, Benagil and Carvoeiro. Something that people are not aware is Portugal, we also produce our own oysters. So something that you can do in the Algarve is clam picking and oyster tasting, for example. There's a lot of hotels or not necessarily hotels that have cooking classes, for example, where you can learn how to cook a cataplana, which is a popular seafood dish in the Algarve. But of course, there's also the inland parts. So if you stay more in the inland, the more, let's say, the authentic Algarve, you'll be like 20 minutes from the coast. So still you can go to the beach very easily. Of course, you'll need either a transfer or have your own car, but you have a different experience if you decide to stay more inland. Something that I would also recommend is to visit Monchique, which is the small mountain in the Algarve. It has a spa. It's a thermal town, and of course golf. There's a lot of there's more than 40 golf courses in the Algarve, and it's one of the best places to golf. But there's also spa and wellness for those who detox. There's also dolphins that you can do. There's aqua parks as well for families. There's 3 excellent aquatic parks as well. There's marinas if you like to have a lunch or dinner at the marina, so that's something you can do as well. Yeah, that's it. There's so much. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. And a big thank you from all of us at Classic Collection Holidays for coming along today for our update on Portugal. Obviously, all of our holidays that you've seen today in all the different areas are all available through your local Miles Morgan branch. So I'm going to hand back over to Miles and stop my screen share. And if anyone's got any questions.
Yeah, so please, if you've got any questions, please either unmute yourself if you know how to do it, or either do that or tap the screen and you can put a question into the chat. I'll keep an eye out all the time to check there are no questions appearing in that chat. So if you have any, please do. I think what was lovely about what you did this morning is I think there is a natural association. Portugal means the Algarve. And of course, gorgeous as the Algarve is, and I've been there, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. You know, I've also been to Lisbon, not a place that was on my list to visit, but I went, and what a gorgeous place it was. I had a fantastic time there. And certainly when you talk about the north around the Douro region, that's an area I haven't been to. But every time I see a presentation like this, it just makes you think, I'm desperate to go, I need to go. And as Gemma, as you would know, you know, Madeira with the Miles Morgan Travel staff is an absolute firm favourite. Huge fans of Madeira as a destination. It just seems to have got everything, I think. I'm going to put both of you on the spot, so I'll try and make up my mind which one I'll pick on first. You're going to go on one holiday to Portugal. Could you tell me what the holiday would be? At where, and probably the biggest thing is for everybody watching this, why you would choose that as the place to go of all the places you can clearly visit in Portugal. Alice, I'm going to be nice to you and I'll let you go second, and I'll pick on Gemma first. Come on then, Gemma, off you go.
Where would I, do you want to know which hotel I'd stay in as well?
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah. Area. Okay, so I mean, I have to say Madeira. I absolutely love Madeira. I have done the Algarve, I've done Lisbon, I've done the Estoril coast, but there's something about Madeira that makes me want to go back. And if I'm completely honest, the first time someone said to me I was going to Madeira, I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to hate it. Got out there, it was nothing like I imagined. It absolutely beautiful place, wonderful people, very friendly. Like we said, the food is fabulous, great hotels as well. And it has been somewhere that I think I've been 8 times now to Madeira. So the proof's in the pudding there that I do love it. Probably my favourite hotel, I do like the Reed's Palace. I love the Quinta to stay in, but the other one I absolutely adore is the Cliff Bay, which is next door to Reed's Palace there. Again, just because it's I quite like the modern hotels. It's very modern. It's got all the facilities there under the sun. It's got a fabulous restaurant, great position. And yeah, just always been really well looked after there as well. But just there's a lot to do in Madeira. There's a lot to see, even if you do keep going back, and you've got to go on that toboggan ride.
It's funny. I asked for a stat on the most popular hotels booked by Miles Morgan Travel customers, and do you know what came second? That hotel.
Which, the Cliff Bay? Yeah,
the Cliff Bay came second, which amazed me when you think about Madeira. You think, oh, it's bound to be a place in the Balearics or the Canaries or mainland Spain or Greece, but no, it was Cliff Bay, which was
yeah, and it is a fabulous hotel. You can see why people go back to it time and time again as well.
Yeah, so hopefully if you're at home now, you're scribbling that down. Cliff Bay, got to visit that one. Alice, over to you. Your choice.
Oh, I would say the Douro. It's definitely the place where, because I like the sea. I like to be next to the beach as well. But the Douro is so relaxing, so quiet, so peaceful. I don't know. In these times, I think probably because I haven't been in a proper holiday for a while. So my next one would definitely be the Douro area, and the vineyards and the peace and the stars, the picnic under the stars, the amazing infinity pools overlooking the Douro River. So it's something that yes, I would like to go back to, definitely.
God, where do I sign up?
Do you know, I was just thinking the first of many of my cancelled trips. So I was supposed to be going to the Douro Valley and Porto in March last year. So that was the first of many trips that I've had cancelled. So it's definitely on my list too.
No, the thing also, the good thing about going to Porto is the north region of Portugal, and of course all the coast. It's very close to other small cities. If you decide to stay in Porto for, let's say, 7 to 10 days, there's so much thing that you can do. You can go to Aveiro, which is 40 minutes by train from Porto. You can go to Braga, to Guimarães, to Viana do Castelo. All of those cities around Porto are less than an hour by train. And there's a lot of, different things that you can do. Different experience that you can have, and of course the Douro is amazing. So
very good. One question from me. So the summer for us sadly is getting tougher and tougher to get away, as the conversation we had earlier. So if somebody's thinking about Portugal and thinking, well, does that mean I now need to wait for decent weather until next May to travel? What would you say about people, and what steer could you give us on climate from sort of the period from October through to April, in terms of what people can expect if they visit?
So Portugal is all year round destination, especially if you go from Madeira, of course, all year round, and Lisbon to Lisbon, Alentejo, and the Algarve is they are also good. The winter is also a good time to visit them. The Algarve, for example, even during December and January, the medium temperature is about 18 degrees during the day, so it's quite nice. Madeira is around the same thing as well, even during the winter. Even sometimes a little bit more, 20. So you can, if you're lucky, you can go, for example, for Christmas, during the Christmas period, and wear a short sleeve in Madeira, for example, during the day. Porto and the center, it rains a little bit more, it's a bit colder, but it's still 12 to 15 degrees during the day, so it's not too bad.
So anybody looking for a winter trip should look generally, if they're after a bit of sunshine and warmth, should head more to the Algarve, to the further south of Portugal.
Even Lisbon as well. So Lisbon is also a good choice for winter holidays, especially up to November. So October, November, the temperature is still 17, 18 in Lisbon. Of course, December it goes down a little bit, but not much. But from February onwards, February is also an amazing time to visit Portugal, especially even the Algarve or the Douro. If you like for example, the almond blossom as well. So to visit that, the Algarve, for those who love nature lovers, to do walking in the middle of the almond trees in February, at the end of February, beginning of March. It's also a great experience, and the weather is good.
So basically, you've talked us into a winter trip and a summer trip now.
Both. Twice.
Can do it all.
So good, we have to go twice a year. Very good. I like that. I like that. Well, you must have done well because there are no questions. So you must have covered everything. In fact, to be fair, you absolutely did cover everything going, which was brilliant. So thank you to Alice and to Gemma. If you have any inquiries that you want to give us for anything to do with Portugal, you have further questions you want to ask Alice or Gemma, then do get in touch with your local shop and we can help you out. Obviously, we are watching for what happens with these traffic lights. And certainly from a health perspective, Portugal is in good shape. And we're freely expecting Portugal to come back on sooner rather than later in terms of a destination that will be green. So certainly get your classic collection brochure out, start flicking through, and particularly look at the Cliff Bay in Madeira. Would you say, Gemma?
Absolutely, definitely go for that one.
Absolutely. So thanks everybody for joining, and catch up soon. And thanks very much to Gemma and to Alice.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.